Bonada, Croeso e Gymru. More specifically, welcome to the A4212. I've just come down from North Mattock with my mate Dave.
That's Dave's bike in the mirror. I don't know if you can see it.
So you join us here on the 4212 heading down into Bala. What's going to happen, although you won't see it on camera, is that once we finish this bit, we'll go into Bala. You'll hit the crossroads, Stoke Crossroads, so it's right and then immediately left, but effectively it's more or less straight on. That will be the B4391. The road itself is the one we're going to take, and that will be over the Berwick Mountains. While it was sunny here, as you can see, now we're the other side of Bala, that's south of Bala, you can see there's a lot of frost around, the road looks quite damp, it's obviously been a lot colder, and of course we're in the shade. We are in a valley here, so what we're going to be doing is steadily climbing ever upwards. Now, although the sun's more or less in our eyes, and it is a bit of a journey, we were really lucky. It's a bright day, and yet the road wasn't completely empty, but it was more or less just the odd vehicle coming towards us. We didn't meet any traffic on our side, and no one came up behind us. So I'm going to let this run as we go further south. Effectively, we're going to be heading down. I say down, it's actually up, really, isn't it? Up the mountains, over the top, and then we were actually taking this road down to Penabont Fawr, and in fact just a little bit further on. Now Penabont Fawr is where a lot of people will be turning right to go down to Lake Vyrnwy. However, Dave, who knows the area really well, wanted me to try a different route that he thought we might enjoy, and actually I'll leave you to decide, but I think the combination of this fast sweeping road, although at the moment obviously going around this bend it's not, but the combination of a fast sweeping road followed by what will come up next will be a really fantastic, enjoyable, contrasting journey to Lake Vyrnwy. And as you can see, we were blessed. We were not hindered by other traffic. It's really unusual, and I will now leave you for a few minutes to hopefully enjoy the trip over the top of the Berwins on the 4391, unhindered by anyone else. See you in a few minutes time, and I'll join you again shortly. Have fun. Oh, and just when you thought you got rid of me, aren't the autumnal colours glorious? We were so blessed to have such lovely weather, and yet there we are with the golds, the greens, the browns, the reds. Absolutely spectacular. Hope you really enjoyed the scenery. As I said, see you again shortly. may be thinking that the bike it seems to be struggling a little on the hill. What you have to remember is that at the moment it is only a few hundred miles old, hasn't had its first service, so I can't use full throttle. Also, the change-up light is coming on at around 7,000 RPM for an engine that will rev to about 11. So certainly think the red line is about 11,000 RPM anyway. So it sounds a little bit as if it's struggling. Actually, it was acquitting itself very well. I was able to power on quite nicely, and I've got no doubt that once the next service has been undertaken, it'll be even better. It has surprised me just how well the bike's been going on this journey. It's particularly, as you can see, a long climb. We've been climbing for some time, and yet it's still going. How did it handle the bends? Well, actually, I was really impressed. It has got very soft suspension. I've mentioned that loads of times, but it seems to be handling it fine. I had no concerns. My biggest worry was the fact that the road surface was really quite wet and greasy and horrible, with slimy brown leaves everywhere. So that was a bigger worry to me than actually being concerned about the way the bike was handling. The tyres, I've gained a bit more confidence in them, and they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. So I'm getting more confident with the bikes itself, more confident with the tyres, and I had a conversation with Dick Whistles, and he was saying, you know, he's beginning to think his CRF might be his favourite bike, and this one's actually amazing me at just how well it's going. And as you can see, we're still climbing, and it's still making progress. I even reckon it could have a 7th gear, and it could take it, but that's another story for another time. I'll join you again shortly. I don't know if it's just me, but it sounds like there's much more wind noise at this point in the video. Obviously we're at a higher altitude, we've been climbing, we're in quite an exposed area. Now we're on a straight area. Obviously I've been going faster. But also I'm using a GoPro for this part of the video rather than the early parts, which would have been done on the other camera, on the Senna. Now the GoPro normally would have a windsock on it, but as part of the lovely puppy and his exploits and his testing, that is no more. So I was running it completely unhindered or unprotected really, and that may well be contributing to the extra noise. There's not even a super suit to dull the noise, so apologies for that, but it does give you a feel for how the GoPro is actually working, despite having been partially eaten. Right, we're beginning to make a descent down, I think now, so the next time you'll see me will be just before the next little road. So as we come off the mountains, we then go through a couple of villages and head on to the next road, which is a lovely little green lane. Apart from the start and a couple of gates, it's more or less completely unedited, so I'll leave you to enjoy. I'll see you at the end of the lane. surfaces along this trail varied quite a lot. Some of it downhill was some of the most unsettling for me. You've got water on top of leaves, on top of what effectively are nice wet polished cobbles really, and yeah, there's only a big drop down the left hand side, so yeah, it was a bit unnerving really, so we took our time coming down, but nothing to be too worried about. It was just more, you know, don't want to be a hero. I would like to get back in one piece. But yeah, I took it nice and easy, and it made it all the more pleasant knowing that I'd get back. Nothing wrong with the bike, it's not the bike's fault, it's purely me being a bit of a wuss. And as you can see, we just keep on descending and descending further down. And here, as we leave the loose surfaces behind, we're now heading onto the road that led us, or would normally have led us I should say, from Pen y Bont Fawr to Lake Fynwy. And I'm sure if you've ridden that road you'll recognise the junction when we come up to it. We won't be too far down this road. When we do get there, the first thing we'll do is turn left, and then we'll be heading off to Lake Fynwy. So we've been high up the mountains, we've been in the woods, we've been on a dirt track, and now here we are in glorious rolling green countryside, all very different. It's what's made this a fantastic little adventure. So Pen y Bont Fawr is on the right, and we joining it, heading left towards Lake Fynwy. What I would like to say is a massive thank you to Dave. It was his idea to come out. It was a very short notice, and I have to commend him on an excellent choice of day. I was wearing my bike jeans, some thermals, and just some waterproof over trousers, and on my top half was literally just t-shirt, sweatshirt, and a coat, and it was fine. It wasn't a hot day, obviously, it was a cold day, but I was quite comfortable. Dave's route selection really was fantastic. It's something I think he's a real expert in this area. So with a massive thanks to Dave for being such a great bloke and sharing such fantastic knowledge. Thanks to the great powers that be for the weather, Mother Nature for the lovely scenery and the autumnal colours. We're heading now to the dam at Lake Fynwy. The journey didn't end there, and I'll be producing another episode for our return trip. It's one you really can't miss. It's going to be including a lane which I cannot recommend enough. It's fantastic. You end up with views of just mountains upon mountains upon mountains. I've been past it many times, and anyone who's ridden the area probably has been past it but didn't know it was there. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully you'll join me when I produce that video. Until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon, hopefully. Thanks again. See you soon. Bye.
Oh.